Hare Krishna. Happy Gaur Purnima
to everyone. There are 4 yugas in this Manvantara. 1 cycle of yugas, and then in the end there is destruction. And in each of them there have been various incarnations of the Lord, and there are main ones for each yuga.
For Satya Yuga, there was Lord Nrsingadev. For Treta Yuga, there was Lord Ram. For Dwapar Yuga, there was Lord Shri Krishna himself.
But did you ever get a question in your mind? Which avatar was meant for Kali Yuga? You must have gotten this one.
And in this video, that question and many other questions related to that one will be answered.
So let's get started.
Fun fact, Lord Chaitanya's name is Sachinandana because he is the son of Sachimata. Now let's know what Gaur Purnima actually is.
Gaur Purnima is one of the most glorious days of the year. This is the day Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came on this earth from the womb of Sachi Devi. On this day, Lord Chaitanya was born in Mayapur, in the town of Nadia, just after the sunset of the evening of the 23rd Falguna, corresponding to the 18th of February, 1486 in the English calendar.
The moon was eclipsed at the time of his birth, and the people in Nadia were then engaged, as was usual on such occasions, in bathing in Bhagirathi with loud cheers of Haribol.
In Gaudiya Math, it's considered inauspicious when there is an eclipse, but at the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birth, he was born on the eclipse, which made the inauspicious eclipse a very auspicious eclipse.
So, Gaur Purnima is the day on which Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared on this earth. Now you must be wondering who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. Let's take a look at it. Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of Lord Shri Krishna and Srimati Radharani together. The reason why he is both is because in Dwapar Yuga, Lord Krishna got a desire. He wanted to see how a devotee always feels to serve the Lord.
That's why Lord Krishna took the avatar of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His external body is transcendental, and one who is in there is Lord Krishna. But the one whose bhav or emotion or feeling are there is Srimati Radharani.
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had also come on this earth because he had to do
Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge.
To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I myself appear, millennium after millennium.
So Lord Chaitanya has seen that there is a lot of irreligion going on this earth. That is why he came.
Fun fact, Lord Chaitanya only stayed on the earth for 48 years. 24 years of his life were into childhood and grihastha life. The rest 24 was his sannyas life. And he preached Krishna consciousness all of the world in these 24 years of his life.
Let's take a look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance pastime. Once Narad Muni was getting worried about Kali Yuga approaching quickly. So he thought he would ask Krishna for the solution, and so he went to Dwaraka.
That time, Krishna was staying at the house of Satyabhama, and he had to inform Rukmini that he was going to her palace. So, she had cleaned the palace with all her maidservants, and she got the kids dressed up.
She got the pandits there to chant Vedic mantras. She filled the water pots and banana leaves, also trees of sugarcane. And she did everything she could to make an auspicious welcome for Lord Krishna.
When Krishna came from the house of Satyabhama, he was given a really good welcome. Rukmini sent the children to embrace their father. Then she took him inside to the inner quarters. She had a special swing for him, for Krishna. So she began to do Abhishek, puja for Lord Krishna, bathing his lotus feet.
Then she started to cry. Krishna was amazed that why someone is greeting him and at the same time crying. So then he asked Rukmini, "Why are you crying? Is it that some servant argued with you today? Or the children aren't listening to you? What is the reason for your crying?
She looked at him and said, "You don't really know why I'm crying, do you? Radharani knows. She knows why I'm crying."
She said, "I am crying because you came to my house, but one day you will leave. If you promise you will never leave my house, then I won't cry."
No, I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to make you cry," said Krishna.
Like this, he tried to pacify her. He brought her next to him and wiped the tears from her eyes.
Meanwhile, Narad Muni came to the window, and Krishna called Narad Muni, "Gurudev! Gurudev!" In this way, by the appearance of Narad Muni, Krishna was saved from the embarrassing situation with Rukmini Devi.
And along with Rukmini Devi, he washed the feet of Narad Muni. They had a special Guru Asan and they sat him down on it.
Krishna saw that Narad Muni was disturbed, so he was wondering, "How is it today that my wife is crying? My Gurudev is disturbed. He's always peaceful."
So he asked Narad Muni, "Why are you disturbed?" So Narad Muni said, "I can see in the world that the symptoms of Kali Yuga are approaching. Just like when a sun is going to set, it begins to get twilight. So, like that, we can see that the people are becoming more and more materialistic.
Like this, the symptoms of Kali Yuga are beginning. So that means your presence is fading off. Soon you will leave this world. Then the Kali Yuga will begin. So I want to know what your solution for the conditioned souls of the Kali Yuga is. I'm very concerned about them. How will they get delivered in Kali Yuga?"
Then Lord Krishna said, Rukmini said that Radharani knows what she is feeling, and you are concerned about the deliverance of the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. So I will come again in Kali Yuga. I will take the mood and the color of Radharani to understand the mind of Rukmini and to solve your concern.
So he predicted that he would come again as Gauranga in Kali Yuga. He told Narad Muni to tell all the Devas to incarnate in Bengal.
In this way, we will flood the world with Harinam Sankirtan. So like this, Narad Muni went to the different planets to invite the people to come down and join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement.
Then he went to Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra, and they advised him to go to Brahmaloka, and from Brahmaloka, Lord Brahma came as Haridas Thakur.
Narad Muni went to Shvetadvip and Goloka Vrindavan, and there he saw that Lord Chaitanya was being bathed by queens of Dwaraka and gopis of Vrindavan.
So then he paid his obeisances, and Lord Chaitanya was surprised why Narad Muni was coming from the planet of the four-headed Brahma, Chaturmukhi Brahmaloka.
So he took him aside and asked him, "What is up?" He said, "I'm concerned that you are leaving the planet as Krishna and Kali Yuga will begin."
So he asked Lord Chaitanya what he would do to save the people of Kali Yuga. Lord Chaitanya told all the gopis and Radharani that, "I am going to go into the four-headed Brahmanda and spread love of Godhead everywhere. Which of you are coming with me?" So everybody wanted to come then.
Fun fact, Lord Chaitanya's name is Vishwambhara because he sustains the whole universe.
So now we're going to tell you about Lord Chaitanya answering some questions.
Lord Chaitanya answering questions pastime.
For 3 years, 2 devotees named Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraja Khan submitted a question at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And each year, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the same reply. The question was, what is our duty and what is the method of spiritual advancement for ordinary people like us?
And each year, Lord Chaitanya gave the same answer. Continuously chant the holy names of Krishna and serve the devotees of Krishna.
Then Satyaraj would ask, who is a devotee of Krishna and how do we recognize him?
Each year, Lord Chaitanya gave a slightly different answer. The first year he replied, one who chants the holy name of Krishna once is a devotee.
The next year he responded, one who continuously chants the holy name of Krishna is a devotee. In the year after, he said, one whose mere presence inspires others to chant is a devotee.
Fun fact, Lord Chaitanya's name is Tapta Kanchana Gaura because his skin is molten gold.
Now, let's move on to the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya.
Resting on snake's back pastime. One day, while Nimai was crawling upon his knees, a snake slithered into the courtyard. The Lord caught hold of it and simply enacted another pastime.
The snake then coiled, and the Lord lied down on the snake's back. When the residents of the house saw him, they screamed. But the Lord calmly smiled and remained upon the snake, looking very relaxed.
The people shouted while Nimai's parents waited in anxiety. The snake, who was actually Anantashesh, who is the resting couch of Lord Narayan, started to slither away when he heard all the crying and commotion.
Little Nimai tried to stop him, but the ladies rushed over and gathered up Nimai into their arms. Some relatives tied a talisman upon Nimai for his protection, while some chanted sacrifice mantras and others poured Ganga water on different parts of his body.
Some of them thought that the child had received a new life, while others realized that the snake was actually Anantashesh.
Fun fact, Lord Chaitanya was very naughty when he was a kid, just like Lord Krishna.
Let's move on to the pastime called Nimai with Two Thieves.
One day, while Lord Chaitanya was playing on the ground, two thieves saw him. When he was small, he used to wear lots and lots of golden ornaments, which were very expensive.
So that's why the thieves thought that they can take the opportunity of this time and steal Lord Chaitanya. Then they can kill him and take all the gold for themselves.
Then the two thieves approached him and told, "Oh child, we haven't seen you since a long time." They said this so that Nimai would feel as if they were his parents or guardians.
Then they said, "Let's go home now. You have been out here for enough time." Then Nimai says, Yes, let's go home." The two thieves carried him on their back.
Even though as a child, Nimai was getting heavier, so the two thieves decided to keep switching. While they were walking to their house, they were also feeding Nimai some sweets so that he wouldn't get agitated and so that Nimai wouldn't think that, "Oh, these are dangerous people, I should go away."
But while they thought that they were tricking Nimai and his parents, they themselves were getting tricked because Nimai put an illusory energy on them, which was making them to take rounds near Jagannath Mishra's house.
So, after taking a few rounds when Sachi Mata came out, then they got scared. So they just put him down and said, "Your child went somewhere else, so we brought him here." And therefore those thieves got some credit for bringing Nimai falsely back to his house for not doing that.
Fun fact, Lord Chaitanya has 4 other associates. Together they are called the Panchatattva. These associates were helpers in his mission, namely Nityananda Prabhu, Advaitacharya, Gadadhar Pandit and Srivas Thakur. Now let's move on to pastime called Nimai's water pastime.
Every day after their school, Nimai with all his friends used to go into the Ganges river and play. They used to make challenges and try to beat those challenges.
They used to have a lot of fun in water of Ganges. Nimai would also quarrel with the other Brahmin boys who came near him. Then they would make a fight, and in the end of a fight always, Nimai would win because he was more powerful.
He would also splash water onto the other older Brahmins who would go there for bathing. He would kick the water with his feet, and then the water would fall on their heads and bodies. So the Ganges water, which is already pure, gets even more pure by touching Nimai's leg, and then it goes on the Brahmin's head.
In this way, they would receive his mercy, while the Brahmins thought it was very bad. Nimai was so naughty that he would contaminate anyone who had just taken bath or who had just gotten pure.
Then, when all the people would come and complain to Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi, then Nimai would act as if he didn't even do anything. and when it came to the water pastime. After all the complaints, he got to know by his friends that Jagannath Mishra was coming towards the Ganges.
After knowing that, he quickly went out of the river to the other side and dried himself up really fast. Then he put some ink and dirt on his body and went back home. And when Jagannath Mishra arrived at the Ganges, he angrily told the other boys, "Where is Nimai? Have you seen him anywhere?"
Then the boys told, "Today after school, he went straight to his house." Then, when Jagannath Mishra arrived back to his house, to his surprise, he found out that Nimai was over there only, and he was fully covered in dust and ink. So he got to know that Nimai was in his school.
Let's move on to the pastime, where Nimai accepts the offerings of Jagadish and Hiranya Pandit. When Nimai was small, then he had very beautiful eyes, and he used to cry a lot from them. Every time, the one and only solution to make him stop crying was to chant Hari Hari loudly while clapping in front of him. But one day, even while chanting Hari Hari, Nimai wouldn't stop crying.
He was crying and crying. Then one devotee asked him, "Dear Nimai, we are chanting Hari Hari with so much devotion just for you. Are you not satisfied? What do you want that will make your heart satisfied?"
"You can ask for anything. We will bring it for you. Just please stop crying." Then Nimai said, "If you want me to stay alive, go to the homes of Jagadish and Hiranya Pandit and bring me the offerings that have been made for the Lord. In this way only I will get satisfied."
When the devotees went to Jagadish and Hiranya Pandit's house, then they asked them to bring their offerings for Nimai. Then Jagadish and Hiranya Pandit thought to themselves, "How fortunate are we that we are going to be able to feed the Lord with our own offerings."
That too, we didn't call him. He himself is calling us. How fortunate are we? When Jagadish and Hiranya Pandit arrived at Jagannath Mishra's house, then there was a lavish meal for Nimai, and he ate a little of each and every preparation. After that, they had a very beautiful Kirtan.
Fun fact: Lord Chaitanya is the most merciful incarnation of the Lord Krishna. Now, let's move on to the pastime. Nimai's wonderful footprints.
One day, Jagannath Mishra called out to his son while he was playing, "Vishwambar, please bring my book." Then Nimai quickly went in the room and bought the book.
After Nimai gave the book to Jagannath Mishra, he went back to playing. While he was playing, Jagannath Mishra went inside for 1 minute.
And he saw on the floor that there were footprints of a person. When he saw the footprints, he also saw that there were different types of symbols on the footprints.
By the different types of symbols on the footprints, Jagannath Mishra understood that this was the Lord himself. He thought that his deities had secretly moved, so therefore he got blessed. Now let's move on to a different pastime, the offering for Lord Gopal.
One day, a Brahmana was traveling in Navadvip. He decided to rest in Navadvip. He thought that it would be good to rest in Jagannath Mishra's house since he was having a very blessed child with him.
When he went to Jagannath Mishra's house, he was welcomed very nicely by Jagannath Mishra, because after all, he was a Brahmana. After that, he got his feet washed. Then he asked Jagannath Mishra, "Can I please cook some food for my lordships?"
Then Jagannath Mishra told him, "Yes, please do so. This will bring auspiciousness to our home." Then Jagannath Mishra gave him a kitchen and food materials. The Brahmana started to cook.
When the Brahmana was done cooking, he offered the food to the Lord. When the Brahmana offered the food to the Lord, then he started to chant mantras with his eyes closed.
At the time, little Nimai appeared and started to eat all the offerings. When the Brahmana was done chanting the mantras, he saw that the offerings in the plate were gone. Nimai had eaten most of the offerings.
The Brahmana said, "Oh no, Nimai spoiled my offering to Lord Gopal." When Jagannath Mishra got to know about this, he gave permission for the Brahmana to cook again.
This time, Jagannath Mishra put Nimai in a locked room. Then the Brahmana offered food again, and it again got eaten by Nimai. He cooked again, and again Nimai ate it all.
After the third attempt by the Brahmana, Nimai revealed his Lord Krishna form and showed the Brahmana and told him, "Dear Brahmana, I am very satisfied by your love and devotion towards me. So therefore, I grant you liberation in the end of this life of yours." Then the Brahmana offered his prayers and got ecstatic.
Fun fact, there is Chaitanya Charitamrit, which was written by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, and this is filled with pastimes and life and glories of Lord Chaitanya.
Now let's move on to Lord Chaitanya's grown-up pastimes. Lord Chaitanya getting his thread ceremony. When Lord Chaitanya grew up, he had to get his thread ceremony performed. So all the people started to decorate the house of Jagannath Mishra and began to cook many different delicious delicacies.
When the time of the day was very auspicious, the ceremony was performed. All the planets were in favorable position, so it was very, very auspicious.
The sacred thread adorning the beautiful form of the Lord was an enchanting sight. Just like Lord Anantashesha, who assumed a thread form to circle the body of his beloved Lord.
After Lord Chaitanya's thread ceremony, all the residents of Navadvip always saw an effulgence emanating from Lord Chaitanya.
After the thread ceremony of the Lord Chaitanya, he used to go to the houses of people in Navadvip and ask for alms, and he would get them in a bag hanging from his shoulder.
Let's move on to the Mahaprakash Leela. One day, Lord Chaitanya came in his Bhagwan Bhav, which means that he came into the feeling that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He went into the mood of Krishna as the Supreme Person.
And he asked all his associates to bring lots and lots of Ganga water, Panchamrit and food offerings. When the devotees brought them, then they started to worship Lord Chaitanya according to Lord Chaitanya's desire. He got an abhishek and ate lots and lots of delicious offerings.
Then he told each of his associates things that they had done either in their past lives or in this life that they don't remember. He told them that he had come personally to them to help them out of different troubles that they had gotten into.
Another thing that happened was that Lord Chaitanya saw a woman called Dukhi, and he asked one person why her name was Dukhi. And that person told that Dukhi was named so because she was always sad. People always used to chastise her and blaspheme her, and she always never got any credit for whatever she did. She had a pure heart and she was doing loving service to Lord Chaitanya without any expectations in return.
Then Lord Chaitanya decided to name her Sukhi, which means always happy, and also give her the blessing of eternal happiness and also the eternal service for Godhead.
So that was the end of this video. As you know that Lord Chaitanya has unlimited glories and unlimited pastimes, so that's why we material people, we cannot describe all of that. That's why we are only going to keep these pastimes and glories for now. And that's it for this video. Please like this video.
Share it with your family and friends so they get the information you just did.
And subscribe to our channel.
And we will see you in our next video.
Hare
Krishna!
Happy Gaura Purnima!